it would be honeysuckle. And the best time to gather honeysuckle is in the fall, right before the first freeze. And the Cherokees, they boil it. But as Creeks, or me as a Creek weaver, I don't boil it. Whenever I have my long strings of honeysuckle, then I'll take 2 dried corn cobs and I'll put them in my hand and just pull it through, and it will take that outer shell off of it, and you can roll it up and you're ready to weave.
Awesome. Thank you for that. I didn't know that. So I think I'm going to learn a lot today. So I've got my notes here. So I'll be taking notes as well, just learning all about the rich history of basket weaving and what all it's made out of. Yeah, so let's go ahead and do our first poll. So if your hands are wet, try to dry them off somehow really quick so you can click with your mouse. But we'll do our first poll here just to kind of get us started before we get into making some baskets.
Tyler, will it let you post the poll? It's not letting me.
It won't, because I'm not the host anymore. That option went away for me.
I don't know why it's doing that.
Is it on your, will it let you post them on your end?
It sure will not. So I have the questions in front of me. Do you have them too, Tyler? If not, I can.
I didn't print them off.
Okay. I've got them all. Let me just grab them real quick here. I'm not lied. I know the first one is, or one of them is, if you were able to have a superpower, what would it be? So if you all could just put that in the chat for us. If you could have a superpower, what would that superpower be?
Beast charity.
Ooh, we've got a lot of time travelers, time manipulation.
Telekinesis is a good one too.
Nice.
Time travel. That can get tricky. You get the whole like alternate universes thing. That would be, that'd be intense.
The next one actually goes with time travel. So if you could travel in time, would you go to the past or the future?
Go to the past.
Mary, you said you'd go to the past?
I would go to the past. I would want to go back to about the 1800s in Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. We got a lot of people going to the past. Maria, Tima. Yeah. As long as you can come back, you go to the past. Okay, Eli, I see that. Gotta have to come back to our comforts of our current time, right?
Yeah, I think everyone's pretty much wanting to go back to the past, seems.
Yeah. All
We'll
right.
go to the future.
Here's another question for you all. What is your favorite type of music? Foreign alternative or rock. Okay, that's pretty specific. R&B, Tima, okay. K-pop and rap, I love it. K-pop is pretty popular right now. Yeah.
It is. See, when I was in high school, I was listening to J-pop and J-rock is what I was getting down with, some Japanese rock and Japanese pop.
That's funny.
Eli, is this foreign alternative, or is it foreign, like foreign music in general, comma alternative, or rock?
I mean, I guess for music in general, and then like I like alternative and rock, I guess.
Oh, cool.
But I tend to not listen to foreign alternative or foreign rock for some reason.
Sure, sure.
All right. And then last question before we get started is this your first time ever making a basket? Yes or no? Or I'm not sure. First time for Miranda and Eli. It's not Tima's first time. She's been to this ball game before. Malachi's first time. Okay. Oh. All right. I think that's all our questions for now. Tyler, you want to go ahead and just go ahead and tell them about a little bit more about your program, what you do, and yeah.
Yeah. So what we primarily do is we do a lot of trainings, a lot of mental health trainings for adults, because we want adults to know how to identify if youth are struggling with both, stress or anxiety or depression. And we also will do classes with youth. So I'll talk to youth about mental health in general. I'm all about, anytime I'm working with youth, I always want to highlight on strengths instead of doing like fear tactics, like maybe we've heard before about the kind of doom and gloom of mental health. I like to really work with youth on, how to, what are the positive things in your life? So for example, for somebody who likes basket making, this is what we would call a protective factor. And protective factors are those things that help us whenever we're feeling stressed out or feeling anxious or depressed, or a lot of these heavy emotions that many of us went through, especially in the last year or so when we had to change our whole life. So, I really like working with youth in that area to teach youth and young adults just how to identify coping skills too, because a lot of us aren't really taught coping skills at school, and unless we have a parent or a trusted adult in our life that teaches us what coping skills are, how to use them, we may never learn exactly what healthy coping skills are. So anytime I work with youth, I always want to make sure that we find healthy ways to manage some of these heavy emotions that we experience maybe on a day-to-day basis. So we just feel more healthy mentally, right? So that's a little bit of what I do. I do a whole lot more, but concerning youth, I like meeting with youth, doing group activities, group activities like this, and, working on doing some more cultural activities. So we're looking at doing resiliency posters where through art. So asking youth, our Native youth, to teach them about resiliency. What does that look like? And how our ancestors were resilient. And which is one of the reasons why we're here today, and teaching about coping skills and those protective factors, but using art to kind of highlight that and to keep that as a reminder of what are some of those things that you can utilize, whether it's art, music, fitness, hanging out with friends, whatever that may be, ceremonial grounds, identifying what are those things that you can utilize whenever you're feeling stressed or depressed or anxious. And just always encouraging and reminding youth to hone in on those and to use those whenever those emotions come up. So that's what I do. And if anyone has questions for me, throughout, we can have discussion. But Mary, I think we'll turn it over to you, and then we'll get started. And I'll just kind of monitor the chat. So if any questions come up, Mary, if there's a time, I'll just sort of interject and we'll go from there.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah, thanks so much.
Does everybody have their reed soaked? I'm hoping yes. Yes, okay. Okay, this is your spider, and we call it a spider because it looks like a spider. So when you had your pin holding your weaver, so you're just going to take your pin off, and you should be on top of the basket so that when you're weaving it, you're going clockwise. And so it's just an over and an under. And if you'll look at even the one you have right now, you'll see like one will be over, and then it'll be under, and then over. Does everybody see that?
I see head shaking.
Yes, everybody sees it. So you're just going to go over and under, and then pull it tight. Let me turn it like this way. It's like over, under, pull tight. Over, under, pull it tight. And when you're working with it, I say drive it like a car, and just kind of turn it like it's a wheel. So over, under, pull tight, over, under, pull tight. Does everybody see what I'm doing? Yes. Okay.
Yep, seeing some yeses in the chats. If anyone says no, I don't, or help, I'm so lost, just holler at us, let us know, and we'll kind of take some step backs.
Okay, well, you're going to continue to do that over and under and over and under until you get the bottom about this big. And you want to try to keep it flat. And you want to try to keep it flat so that when you make your basket, it has something to hold it flat so it will sit up. So you're just going to continue to go over and under and over and under. If it feels dry, just dip it in the water and then bring it out. Is everybody good? So I don't know if you can see this or not, but see how it's just over and under and over and under. This is called continuous weave. And if you look at the number of legs on it, there's 11. And in order to go round and round and round and continuously weave it, you have to have an odd number of spokes. So that's why if you'll notice, you have two stokes, and then on two of them, you have three, where you're going to treat those three just like you are the other legs. And when we get to the top, then we're going to cut one off of the threes and make it two so that our top is all the same. And if you get to the end of your weaver, this is your weaver, then let me know, and then I'll show you how to put another one in. And you just want to make sure you keep this wet and pliable, because if not, it'll end up breaking on you. Nancy?
Yes, ma'am.
Tyler? Should I be seeing the children?
I think there's only maybe one or two that have their cameras on. And you may not be able to see them right now. I have you spotlighted so they can really watch you.
Okay.
We'll keep an eye on them though. Like if they have a question, if they raise their hand, we'll let you know.
Okay, because I can't tell as to, really how they're doing.
Yeah. We'll do some check-ins here in a little bit. Mary, while they're working on kind of that base, will you tell us a little bit more just about like the history of the baskets, like what they're used for, and then like even how you started making baskets.
Well, I started making baskets, it's been almost 30 years ago. And I was working with the Council House Museum, but at that time I was doing pottery. So Ted Isham was more or less the director of the museum. And he said we only had one basket weaver left, and her name was Hepsy Gilroy. And she was elderly and her health was failing on her. So Ted said, I want you to learn everything you can about baskets because you're going to be our next basket teacher. So Ted is the one that pushed me to get me to learn everything I could. And I would go to museums and study the baskets. But every tribe, more or less, had their own rimming method. And that's how you knew what tribe made the basket, because we borrowed a lot from each other from tribe to tribe, so that the bottoms of the baskets could look just exactly alike. But it was when they got to the rimming method that's how you could tell. So the Creeks had what was called a double false braid rim. It hadn't been done for 100 to 150 years. And so I revived that in 2005. Ted filmed me, so I'm hoping that this knowledge will never be lost to the Creek Nation now that we have it on film. And when I do have class, mostly with adults, I try to teach that rimming method. So whenever I very first started out, I was weaving with commercial reed, but all Southeastern tribes wove with river cane. And I don't know if y'all are familiar with river cane or not, but if you know what bamboo is, it's in that same family. And so river cane was a staple, especially when our ancestors were in the Southeast. They used it to build with, for construction. They used it for musical instruments, for basketry, for making mats, and even sometimes they never really knew when it was going to happen, but it would flower, and maybe it would do it every 10 years. Then they would pick the seeds and pound them into a flour and eat the flour. So river cane was very, very important.
Wow, that I have known that it's been important, but I learned a few new things just from what you shared there. I didn't know that I didn't know that they made a flour out of it. I have never heard that.
And then river cane, I can't tell you where I would go to harvest my cane, but I'll let you know that it's on down Highway 75 for about an hour and a half. And I had always been able to get my river cane there, but about 3 years ago, there was a flood came through, and river cane likes fire and flood. But I went back this last fall, and there was only about 14 stalks of it that I could use. So I really don't have a place right now to gather my cane. So if anybody knows where I can get cane, I sure would like to know.
So Mary, you said that river cane is kind of hard to find now. What is some of the reasons why it may be so hard to find?
Well, it's considered to be an invasive species. So farmers did not like it growing on their land. And so they would dig it up or burn it, thinking that would, if they burned it, they thought that would get rid of it, but really it only flourished. But just with building, people moving out into rural areas, and it's just considered invasive. There used to be a big stand of it over in Mvskoke, out by Fort Gibson, and the electric company poisoned it all because they didn't want it growing up into the electric lines.
Okay. Miss Mary, we had someone in the chat saying that they finished with their weaving already. Do they just need to kind of hang tight and wait until the next step?
How big is their bottom?
I'm not sure. If you don't mind putting that in the chat for us.
Okay, you need to have the bottom and trying to keep it flat, and it needs to be about this big. So that's probably at least a couple of inches, 2.5.
Probably like an index finger across.
Yeah, like that, maybe an index finger across. But are they needing to add another weaver in?
It looks like that's where they're at.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you think everybody's through with the bottoms, or they're ready to add another weaver? When you add another weaver, let me do it on this one, because I'm just about through with this one. But the diameter of your bottom kind of lets you know how big your basket is going to be. So you don't want it too small, because in the end, you're going to be wanting to get your fingers down in there when we start working on the rim. Okay. Okay, so when I'm going to end this, and I'm going to start a new weaver. So I'm hoping you can see this. So I'm going to go over and under and over and under, and I want it to end on the inside. And so I'm just going to bring it to the inside, and right here behind this stake, it's just going to come right across, and it's just going to lay out there. Then I'm going to get another piece, and you're just going to untangle it. And so when I do that, I call it a half and a half. So I want to end it on the inside. Then I'm going to take this and I'm going to just set it right across, just like crossing over it. So you have this one down, this one goes across and comes to the outside, and that puts you right back on your weaving pattern. If you can't hold it, you can just take a pin. Everyone should have a clothespin, and you can just take it and put it there and hold it. So at this point, I have the bottom big enough. So, and you want to make sure on this that you're plenty wet so that when we gather it up, it won't break. So I'm just going to gather all the legs up with my hand. And I'm going to kind of do like this. And so that's going to tell those legs, I want you to start going up. Does everybody see that? Maybe.
We're getting some people in the chat saying yes. I'm seeing a thumbs up
Okay.
from Tima.
When you're weaving now, because I'm going to start going up, you're just going to weave over and under. But when you're doing that, you want to push the legs in, just kind of bounce them. And that will make the basket start coming up. And whenever I like to weave mine on a new weaver, I like to hold it on my knee, although you can't see it, but pretend that this is on my knee, and I'll hold it there and I'll just push that in, push. And see how I'm constantly rotating the basket.
Hey, Miss Mary, one of the, a couple of the youth who were trying to add their new read in got kicked out. And so they missed you showing how to add that new piece. Do you have
Okay.
another one you can show?
Yeah, I can just take this one out and just do it again.
Okay. Yeah.
So when you get to the end of it, and I'm holding it upside down, right here, this is going to be the inside of the basket. So I'm just bringing it past this stake and pushing it down. Then I'm adding a new weaver, and I'm just putting this right on top of it. So it's kind of like I call this a half and this a half, and they cross over each other. Then I'll go over and under, put my pin in, and then just continue to weave. But you're pushing in on the legs. Really, you're pushing up. And then when you get to your pin, just take your pin off and continue to weave. And when you've gone around it 3 times where you had your pin, it will catch it and hold it down. So I'm just pushing in, pushing in. Okay, is everybody good? And so you can see it's like the legs are wanting to start to come up, and that's going to be your walls.
Hey, Miss Mary, we had a question here in the chat that says, if we are looking at the bottom of the basket on the outside, should the reed be going clockwise or counterclockwise?
It should be going clockwise.
Clockwise, okay.
Could we move this camera down a little bit?
Yes.
And that way I think they could see it better, see my hands better. Okay, that's good. Okay. If you see my knee, when I want to set my basket on my knee, and I'm just going over and under and kind of turning it. Over and under, turn it. You're always over and under, push it in. And remember, if it starts feeling dry, just dip it in the water. And as soon as I get a little bit up, a little bit more, I'll show you on this one how you'll see the walls starting to come up. Okay, can everybody kind of see that? So I'm weaving with my weaver. In just a little bit, I'm going to be adding another weaver. And so whenever I add it, I want it to end on the inside. Okay. Okay, this is where I'm ending. See, my walls are starting to come up. And so I've left it right here, but I want it to end on the inside. So you see, this will not go back around and get totally behind that leg to hold it in. So I'm just going to cut it off some. I don't have my scissors out.
Scissors.
Sorry. Had to get scissors. Okay. So I want it to be behind this one right here. So I'm going to take my scissors and I'm just going to cut this right like that. so that this part right here is going to go under and just stay on the inside of the basket. Then I'm going to get me another weaver, and untangle it. And this is where I said this is the half right here. This is the other half, and I just cross them, go over and under, and then it's right back on that same weaving pattern. So over and under, around and around you go. But basketry was very important to all of the Southeastern tribes. They made mats, and mats were used for sleeping on, to sit on, to line the walls. And then even in some instances, they would roll the deceased up in a mat, and they would be buried in that mat. Okay, our basket that we're making, I probably should have showed you this, is only going to be about this big. So that's just a couple of inches high. But while you're weaving, I'm going to show you this. This is called a double wall. And when you're weaving it, we weave just exactly like we're weaving now. And then when we get to the top, we come over the top and we back another layer right around the outside, so that if you look at the bottom of it, you can tell it's one layer here and then one layer comes on top.
That's a really cool design. What were some of those baskets used for? Maybe
Storage, or probably just for storage.
storage mostly. Okay. We had a question in the chat that says, "What are the color reeds used for?"
Just to add color.
Okay.
So when you're weaving along and you decide you want to add some color, then you can soak the colored reed and start it, do a few rounds of it. And then if you want to go back to natural, then you just go back to natural.
Oh, so you can kind of have like some pattern in there.
Yes, like,
Oh, cool.
Like, see, I just added a little bit of brown to the top of this one. This one has a little bit of orange in it. This one was a double wall, and I added some blue just to the inside. But as Creeks, we didn't use a lot of color in our baskets because our baskets were for utilitarian purposes, like pots and pans. And we may have used color for a ceremonial basket, but we didn't really use color. And our baskets were made out of river cane. When this started beginning to use, I'll say honeysuckle, because that was the natural product. It was after the removal, and they removed us here to Oklahoma, and there's very little river cane here, so they had to look for an alternate source, and that's when they started using honeysuckle. But you can weave with all kinds of different materials. Cattail, I don't know if any of y'all have access to cattail, but you can just go, and if you're getting the cattail, you want to cut it down low, and then it has like a slime, and so you want to rinse that off, and then take it and cut it into strips and let it dry, and then you can weave with that.
Mary, are cattails, are those the ones that are usually found around ponds?
Yes.
Okay.
Mhm.
Mary, I just snuck a basket purse next to you if you'd like to show off that to your attendees.
Okay. This is a basket purse, and this is what our princesses carry. And it's made out of binder cane, binder cane is a commercial cane. It comes from China, but it's the closest we can get to the look of river cane without being river cane. Does everybody see it? So I usually make these every year for the princesses.
That's really awesome.
Thank you. How's everybody coming on their sides?
Everyone seems to be doing pretty well. I'm not seeing any cries for help in the chat yet.
Does anybody want to turn your camera on and show us what you've got so far? Be brave.
Oh, cool. Yeah, it's coming along, Malachi. Eli, you said you don't feel like yours is kind of going much. Oh, so it seems to be sort of going more.
But I'll tell you now.
Oh, go ahead, Miss Mary. I'm sorry.
Oh, I was going to say everybody's baskets will be different. It just depends upon the maker. Some will be more rounded. They just all have kind of like a little different look to them.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Eli, I know that Mary said sort of earlier on before you started the weaver that you kind of push them like the spiders up a little bit more to kind of go up with it, I think. But like she said as well, everyone's is going to look different.
Yes, you push in.
Cayman and Cheyenne, do you want to show yours again? I missed you all. I saw your camera on, but then I didn't get to spotlight you.
Oh, looking good. Mm-hmm.
Nice. Love them.
Very nice.
Oh, there's Tima. Let me get her.
It's looking good, Tima.
Yes. And I would go ahead and just give them a dip in the water just to make sure that they're plenty pliable. So it's just over and under, over and under.
Hey, I think after everyone dips their reed in the water, I'm going to go ahead and throw up another polling question here into the chat, and I'll also read it off as well. Since we're having a little bit of technical difficulties with our polling questions today on Zoom. But this question is, I believe my native culture is a protective factor or something that helps me handle stress, sadness, or anger. So you can just type in the chat, yes, no, I'm not sure. What's a protective factor? Yeah, so the question here is, what is a protective factor? Oh, sorry, and the question was, the polling question was, I believe my native culture is a protective factor, something that helps me handle stress, sadness, or anger. And one of the questions that we got in the chat is, what is a protective factor? Which is a great question. A protective factor is those things in our lives that help us out when we're stressed. Protective factors can be trusted adults. So if you have a trusted adult in your life, which I encourage every youth, every person in their life, no matter how old you are, have somebody in your life that you trust, somebody that you can gain wisdom from, a mentor. I'll pick on Nancy for a minute. I know that she's always during, Think a Mentor Day, she always has a list of mentors that helped her become the person she is today and to get to where she's at today. And I would also argue that Nancy is also a mentor to other people because of that. So protective factors, again, are those things that just really help us out in life when we're feeling stressed or anxious or depressed. And I use those three big emotions because I feel like those are the three biggest ones that a lot of us kind of experience. But having protective factors such as culture, getting connected with your ceremonial grounds or your stomp grounds, or getting connected with your church or that spirituality, learning baskets, learning how to make and weave baskets. What we're doing is not only are we learning how to do things with our hands and we're learning more about baskets, but Miss Mary is also giving us a great history lesson about basket making and the items that were used, that our ancestors used for baskets and why we made baskets and the different variations of baskets. So all of those are considered protective factors. Tima, yes, ceremonial grounds helps a lot with stress, right? We're around our people. We are learning to connect with our ancestors and with the earth. And we're learning about our ancestral history. And that just is a way for us to feel more connected, which I definitely agree helps with stress. So those are protective factors. And it looks like most people believe their native culture is a protective factor, which is awesome. All right, Miss Mary, I'll hop in with another polling question here in just a little bit.
So are you ready for me to continue?
Yes, ma'am, I'm sorry.
Well, my basket that I'm working on, if you can see, there's my bottom, and see that it's flat. My walls are starting to come up. And at this point, I'm going to add a little bit of color. So my natural reed, I kept on weaving. I ended on the inside behind this stake. Take this one, my colored reed, set it right over across on top of it. Go over and under, and I come out. And so you can see this is where my color is starting. So I'm just going to weave that around till I get some color in it. And it's the same over and under, over and under. Okay, and if everybody can see that. But as Creeks, when we were in the Southeast, we wove with river cane. And as Creeks, we used corn was a staple as far as our diet went. So we had 4 baskets that we called like a corn processing, and each one was a little different. And I wish I had brought them today and I could have showed them to you. But they were like, they would have flat bottoms, the tops, they were shallow baskets, and they would have like, one was called a sieve, and it would be up and down and across, but leaving spaces in between. And so when they would take the corn and take it off of the cob, then it would be flipped, and then the debris would fall out through the spaces in the bottom of the basket. So on the next class that we have, I'll bring those baskets and you can see what I'm talking about. Okay. So this is my color, still adding color. And a lot of times I'll just keep on weaving until I've used it up. But if you have a weaver and you don't want that much color in it, then you just take and cut it off. Okay, I'm going to say this is where I'm going to stop with my color. So I'm going to cut it off. And I want it to still to end on the inside of the basket. Then I'm just going to take another, and this is called natural. This color that has no dye in it is just a natural color. But this is the inner core of rattan. The outer core of rattan is what I used to make baskets with, and it's shiny and it looks like river cane, but it's not river cane. But if you don't have any natural products though to weave with, then you can just weave with any commercial product because it's all the same process of weaving and you'll still be learning from it. Okay, so this, I don't know if you can see, but this is where I ended it, right here. I'm going to stick it to the inside. I'm going to take this one. I'm going to come right across on top of it, go under it, and come right back out. So this is what it looks like when I'm adding a piece. And I don't know how well you can see that. So if anybody has questions, just let me know. Okay, and then on this, you can see where now I've added the natural in. Under, over, under. I'm just showing you how it looks. It's like there's the natural color, there's the dyed reed, and then I've come back with just natural. And so I'm going to go ahead. It's starting to feel a little dry at the top, so I'm going to go ahead and moisten it. Just stick it down in the water, kind of splash it around and get it wet and bring it out. If it dries out, it's guaranteed to break on you. All right, I'm almost to the end. How's everybody's walls coming up? Tyler?
Yeah,
Anybody?
everything seems to be pretty good. I'm not seeing anyone. Everyone kind of has their cameras off, but I'm seeing in the chat it's good. Eli, do you want to give a thumbs up on how everything's going, or a thumbs down, or awesome?
Are they going good?
I think so. Yeah, in the chat, I'm seeing slowly but surely. I feel you there, Miranda. You all are moving at a faster pace than I would. I can guarantee it.
Okay, so I'm ready to start my top, but I want to wait until everybody is ready to start their top.
Sure. Yeah, if anyone needs more time before starting the top, go ahead and just let us know in the chat, or unmute yourself if you need to, and just let us know. So that way we can all kind of start at the same time.
And so just remember that you end everything on the inside. If we were making a double wall basket, which this is the double wall. I had one. Oh. So I was telling you about the double walls. Well, this is one that this is the inside of it. I've came and I've woven another layer of it on the outside, and this is what it looks like on the bottom. So if we have enough time, I'm going to show everybody how you make a spider in the end.
Yeah, Miss Mary, I'm looking at the chat, and it looks like some people are needing some more time, maybe before working on the top.
Yeah, I'm a pretty fast weaver, so I know that. And tell everybody just to take their time. I always tell everybody, don't get in a hurry. Try to enjoy what you're doing. Here's another one that I had made at home, and so it's ready to have the top on it. So when we get ready to do the top, I have a couple that I can demonstrate with.
Mary, do you have one that like you could show how you begin that double wall? Like once you get to the top, like what do you do? Is there one that you could do that?
Yeah, I can use this one. Use it. Okay. I'm making sure that it's plenty wet. I'm going to unpin this. And if you look at it, you have two that have 3 on them right here. So I'm going to cut one off of each set of those, even with the top. And it doesn't matter which side you cut it on. You just want to give them down to 2s so that now everything along this top is 2 weavers coming up. So then we're going to bring everything to the outside. So the one in front, I pull it up, and the one behind it, I just bring it around and make that little curl. Then this one is going to go behind the one in front of it and make the curl and just hold them down. This one behind and out. And you're going to do that all the way around, behind and out, behind and out. So I'm just bringing them behind and out, and behind and out, behind and out, behind that one and out. So this is my very last one. Well, as you'll notice, we're bringing them all to the outside. So I'm going to take the very last one. This is the first one. I'm just going to push it up a little, bring this from behind, come to the out, and now they're all to the outside. Can everybody see that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So now you're just going to follow just exactly the same shape as the basket was. So I'm going to take my weaver. Do a little untangling. And I'm going to kind of cut it at a slant. And then I'm just going to come right here and I'm going to push it down. I'll put this up so maybe you can see. So I just pushed it down in there. So now it's just like going over and under. And you're going to use these legs to come down and to follow the shape of the basket.
Hey, Chris or Miss Mary, when you're putting it down, it's a little bit hard to see sort of where that starting weaver is going. Do you mind if we move the camera down or maybe move the basket up just a little bit?
Okay, well, I'm in here by myself, so let me.
Oh,
move
I'm
up.
sorry. I thought Chris was in there with you. I'm sorry.
He just left. Oh, low battery,
Uh-oh.
closed. Okay. Okay, so I just stuck it down right in, there's your top, and you can
Okay.
see, okay, can you see that?
Yes.
Okay, so now I'm going to start weaving, and I am just going to go over and under. I'm going to come out, and I'm going to take these legs. I'm going to go over that one, under that one, over, and pull these down and under, and I'm bringing it right to the top. Can they see, or is this little square in the way?
Yep, that's good.
Okay. And so it's just over and under. Can you see that? Maybe if I did it in color, it would be better.
Oh,
So I'm going to take this out and I'm going to do it in color, and maybe that will help you see it better.
Yeah.
Okay.
And just to clarify, everybody, this is the double wall that she's kind of showing us while you're finishing your basket, getting to the top. So you don't have to worry about doing this part today. We just asked her to do a little something extra for us while you guys are finishing up.
But maybe on the next class.
Yes, yes.
This is the hardest part, is getting it untangled.
Yeah. How's that? Can you see your lap a little bit better?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so this is the double wall, and I'm just going to cut this to make a little slant. Then I'm going to come here, and I'm just going to poke it down. Maybe I'll start here. I'm just going to poke it down in there. Okay, does everybody see that, where I just put it into the side? And now I'm going to start. I still like to hold it on my lap, and I'm going to go. Oh, I don't think I'm in the camera.
Okay.
Maybe down.
Oh, that might be as low as it goes.
Oh, that's
Let me see if I can angle.
okay. Well, maybe I can.
Does that help?
That helped.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Can everybody see? So I'm going to go over and under, and I'm bringing it right to the top of the basket. Over and under. Over and under. And see how I'm constantly moving the basket, turning it. Don't try to just hold it in one position. Over, under. Over, under. Over, under. And now I'm back to where I started. This one's over, so now it's an under. And then you're just going to keep following the shape of the basket. Over, under. And you're going to pull these legs down, because eventually you're going to want them all to be down straight. How's everybody doing?
Seeing a head nod. I'm not seeing anything in the chat yet. I think everyone's probably still kind of catching up a little bit?
So on this double wall, I'm constantly pulling on the legs and pulling them down.
Yeah.
So y'all let me know when you're ready to do your tops.
Yeah, if you all want to put in the chat if you're ready to do your do the top part, just let us know so we can kind of move at the same time. That way nobody gets left behind.
So I don't know if anybody wants to look and see. You can see where the color is starting to be, that's going to be the second wall coming down on this basket.
Okay. Miss Mary, when you get a moment, is there a way to kind of show how tall your basket was maybe before starting the top?
Really, it's maybe this one over here. Oh, this one. So it's probably maybe what, 2.5 inches, 2.5 to 3 inches tall on the sides.
Okay.
One, maybe 2 inches.
Okay. And two, Miss Mary, you said everyone's bowl may not be as, yeah, I guess we're not really going for a particular height, right? Because everyone's is going to look, you know, a little
Right.
bit just kind of depending on how they made it. Okay.
So it's like, it doesn't, there's no set rule in how tall you're making it.
Okay.
Or no set rule even in as to how the shape of it.
Gotcha. Yeah, everyone. So keep that in mind that, you know, everyone's is going to look, it's going to look different. It's your own unique basket. So there you go.
That's how, this is what I made previously. So it's a lot smaller in circumference. It's kind of blurry, isn't it? Sorry.
A little bit.
The one that Mary is doing, it's a lot smaller than the one she's doing right now. I've even made one that's littler than this. And I know my daughter or my son, one of them made one that's probably only about as tall as the white part on mine. It's really, really small and shallow, but I set it beside my bed and I like to throw my earrings off in it at night or change out of my pockets. It's my little catch-all.
Cool. That's awesome.
And I like small baskets because that way you can have more of them. I live in a small house, so I like everything small so I can have a lot. Okay, so if you can kind of see with this, I've added purple and you can see this second wall coming down to the outside.
I saw Tima ask, Tima, you want to show one of your previous baskets? We're ready for you. When you're ready to show it, I'm going to highlight your video so folks can see you.
What did Nancy say?
A previous basket that's already been made, right?
Oh.
Double wall, I guess.
No, team is going to show one that she's made. So I'm just going to go and get that real quick, and then we'll kind of spotlight it and show it in the Zoom for everyone to see.
Oh, wow.
It's not great, but this is like, I did this about 2 years ago or something.
Oh, I like it.
Looks
Thank
good.
you.
I see that corn husk doll inside of there too. Did you make that also?
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
at one of the festivals.
good, good. Thank you for sharing.
Okay, if everybody just want to kind of take a look, this is my second wall coming down on my double wall. Does anybody have questions? No battery, stop that.
I got a quick question. So for the double wall then on that kind, it follows the same principle as doing a normal wall, more or
Yes.
less.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You're just coming down over the top of it and following that shape, pushing it as close as you can get it up against the first wall. And with I do like the double walls better because they make the basket stronger.
I see a question. The sticks that came with your kits, those were actually just something that the vendor that we bought the supplies from recommended we get, but Mary actually doesn't even use those things. So just a little extra tool for you to have for some other uses, I guess. Just an extra supply.
Nancy, there was also a question about where someone could buy some of the materials to make their own baskets.
If you want to buy it local, but not, it's not really local. The Cherokee Nation has some over at out at Shalagi in the gift shop, and they have the Spider Gallery, which is in downtown Tahlequah, and they have it in their shop. But I order from a company called PL Butte, and it's out of New Jersey. But there's no place local, as far as I'll say, like Tulsa, that sells basketry.
Yeah, we bought our supplies from the PL Butte place on Mary's recommendation.
There used to be, I guess it's been several years ago, and people were doing a lot of baskets. So places like Hobby Lobby were carrying basket supplies, but then they stopped. So I really don't know why they stopped, because I think there's always been basket weavers.
Malachi, I see that you said you're ready to start the top. Can we see what you got?
Oh, it looks awesome.
Looks good.
Oh, very good. Very good.
Good job. You got
Nice.
cereal out of that.
Okay, when you're ready to start your top, you're going to take your scissors, and the ones that have 3 on them, you're going to cut 1 spoke off so that there's 2 spokes all the way around on every one of them.
Good. Miranda's bowl's looking good.
Because I didn't know I had that little slidey thing on there. I forgot. And I was like, why isn't my video working?
It's looking good.
So are we ready to start working on the top, or does somebody else need a few more minutes?
Okay, so can everybody see this? I'm assuming they can.
I think so. It looks good to me.
Okay. So I'm just gonna say right here, I'm gonna take this one and I'm gonna put it behind and bring it out. Does everybody see that?
Yes, Miss Mary, there was a question that says, do we cut one of the three or ever one of them?
Just, there's two that have three and just cut one off of the threes.
Okay. So there should be two all the way around. Is that correct?
Then they should be two all the way around.
Okay.
Okay, so then you're gonna take the next one and it's just going behind the one in front of it and then coming out like that. Then behind and out. Behind and out. This one comes here, goes behind and out. This one, behind and out. Behind and out. Does everybody see that? So that's behind and then out to the outside. This one goes behind the one in front of it. Behind. And then you're going to have one sticking up. And so I said, we're bringing everything to the outside. So you're going to take that very last one. This is the one you started at. And you're just going to bring it from the inside to the outside. And then they're all just going to be, push them down. And so they're going to look like that. Any questions?
I don't see any questions right now, Miss Mary, but I will let you know if any come through the chat.
Okay, well, I'm going to wait to do the second round until we have this first round finished.
Okay. Yeah, if anyone has any questions for Miss Mary, feel free to unmute yourself or put it in the chat before we move on to the second part. Mary, we have a question here that says, for the reed that goes in a circle, what do we do with that when we go and do the top?
Oh, you're just to finish it. You can either.
Is that correct, Eli? When you're finishing the bottom part? Yes. Yeah. Yes, Mary. Finishing the bottom part, the reed that goes in a circle.
Okay, you just cut it off and stick it to the inside of the basket.
All right, thank you. Oh no, somebody said one of the reeds broke.
Is it on the 2 or the 3?
Waiting for them to hear back on the 2.
On the 2, then they can just take, if they have some left that they were weaving with, then cut it off and then just stick it down beside the one that broke. And that way it will make it back to 2 again. Let's see if I had anything I could. We say, okay, thank you. And if anybody needs me to redo this, to do this first step over again, let me know and I can just take this out and start it over.
Okay, I'm not seeing anyone in the chat saying that they need, there's a couple people that are a little bit behind, so they're gonna wait for the YouTube video to come out and then they'll maybe go back and watch. But for those right now who are ready for the next step, I don't see anyone who's needing to kind of hold off or for you to re-explain that. But if anyone here needs to, please let us know. Or else I think Miss Mary is just gonna move on to the next step.
Okay, if everybody has this first round done on the top of the basket, then you can just kind of start anywhere on the basket. So the one in front, I'm going to pull down. I'm going to hold that down. The one that's behind it is just going to come across and it's going to go into that hole. And you're going to pull it and it's just going to stay inside the basket. So it's like, so this one would be pulled down. Wait, let me see where I am. Just a second. Okay, right here. Okay, okay, here I am. So front pulls down. The one behind it comes across, comes over, and goes in the hole and just hangs out inside the basket. So the one in front, pull down. The one behind it comes over the top of it and in the hole. Okay, the one in front pulls down. The one behind it comes over, across, and in the hole. Mine's getting a little dry, so I'm gonna stick it in the water for a minute. Okay, so here I am, still going down. One in front. Okay, pull this one down. The one behind it comes across and goes in the hole. Okay, there. Okay, the one in front pulls down. One behind it's going to come over it and into the hole. So this one in front pulls down. This one behind it comes across and goes in the hole. Okay. So it's the same thing over and over again. The one in front pulls down, the one behind it comes across and goes in the hole. So is everybody getting that or not? Okay, the one in front comes down, the one behind it comes over, across, and in the hole.
Eli, are you on the first ring on this process right here that Miss Mary's working on?
Yeah, I'm on the first ring of the top, like the first step of the top.
First step at the top. Okay.
Yeah. But I think I'm almost done with the first step, if I'm doing this right.
Just kind of a check-in with everyone else too. How's everyone's basket coming along with this step, or maybe you're still on maybe step 1 of the top? Do we need to take a break and kind of check in to see if anyone has any questions or see how things are going?
Okay, since I was on the first step, I didn't get to watch very closely, but I'm on the next part now. I just don't know how to do it. So for the second round.
Okay, you've got your first round done,
Yeah.
and all your spokes are on the outside, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you can go to any spot and then just pull down. Can you see me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you're just gonna pull down, and then the one behind it is gonna come over the top and in the hole. And then you just let it hang out.
Okay, and then it'll be pointing like inward, but that way.
Say what?
So like it's pointing this way. Is that fine?
I don't know, because I can't see
Oh
you.
yeah, it's okay. I think I got it though.
Right, I can't see you.
I think you're good, Eli. Yeah, as long as it's on the inside of the bowl, you should
Okay.
be good. Yeah.
Okay.
So on that second round, you're gonna do that. Pull the front one down, the one behind it is gonna come over the top and in the hole. And I'm on my last one, so you don't have one to pull down. So it just comes across and goes in the hole. And so this is what like from the side, but we're gonna cut these off. Can you see that?
Miss Mary, it was kind of breaking up a little bit during that portion. Do you mind just kind of going over that one last step again?
Okay, should I just take this top out and start from the start at the top?
It's on video.
Hmm.
It's recording. It's on video. They can refer back to the video.
Hello?
Oh, I'm sorry. Would it be helpful, everyone, if they redid that, or should we just refer to the video? Somebody in the chat saying it may be helpful to kind of repeat step 2. And then we have some people that say they're good.
Okay, well, I'm gonna take this top apart and restart it.
I think Cheyenne is going to show us her. Yeah, there we go. Mary, can you see that?
Not yet.
Yet, let me see.
Does the girl have her audio on? Yeah.
Go ahead and show us again, Cheyenne. Maybe we can get to where Mary can see where you're at. Oh, did they get kicked out? No, I think they're still there.
Yeah, I think Malachi left.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he was leaving, but I think, yeah, Cheyenne and Cayman are still here.
Do you all want to show yours one more time so Mary can see what that looks like? Can you see came in Cheyenne's name, Mary?
I see the name, but I see no video.
Okay. If you all want to show your video again, that way she can see where you're at. It looked like row 1. There we go. All right. Oh, hey, that looks good. Like the colors. And that one, they're at row 1 on that one right there, right, Mary?
I can't see.
Our end, it doesn't.
Our end is not showing up.
Oh, no. I wonder why.
Sounds good though.
Can everybody still see me?
Yes. Yep. We sure can.
Okay. Do you want me to start the rim over from the beginning?
I think that may be helpful for some people. Yeah, it looks like that would be helpful. And then some, if you're kind of already past this point, maybe just be a time to kind of relax and chill. But yeah, I think that could probably be really helpful for some people.
Okay, so here's the basket. You can just pick out any spot. So I'm gonna just start right here. And this one, I'm gonna take from behind the one in front of it and pull it down. So then here's the next one. It just goes behind that one and pulls down. Can everybody see that? This one behind, and then it comes out. Okay, this one behind and out. And so if you'll see, they're making these little curls, kind of like, okay, behind and out. Behind and out. Okay, behind and out. This one comes up, behind and out. This one goes behind this one and out. Behind that one in front of it and out. And when you get to the end, you should have one sticking up. Okay, so this one was your first one. So you're just going to kind of pull it up a little bit. Take this last one, and it's going to go from the inside to the outside and come right out like that. And so you're going to have what looks like these little kind of like curls around it. And that's the first round. Are we good? Okay, are you ready for me to start the second round?
Yep, I think everyone seems to be good to go.
Okay, now that you've got that first round and we've brought those all to the outside, now what we want to do is we want to put them back into the inside. So this is the outside of your basket. You can start anywhere. I'm just going to take this one and I'm going to pull it down straight. The one behind it just comes across and it's going to go right in that hole that you'll see in that next one. And pull it to the inside and just leave it to the inside of the basket. Then that one in front of it is going to pull down. The one behind it comes across and goes in that hole right there. And you're just doing that all the way around the basket. So this one's going to come down. This one's going to come across and it's going to go in that hole right there. Okay, then this one down. This one comes across. Can you see what holes I'm putting it in? It's going to go across and it's going to go right there in that hole. Oh, sorry, I think I'm too low. Okay, so this one comes down. The one behind it comes over the top of it and in the hole. Okay, so this one, okay, that one down. The one behind it comes across and goes in the hole. Okay, the next one, this one comes down, one comes across, goes over it and in the hole. Does everybody see that? I don't know. Okay. So this one down, one behind it comes across and goes in the hole. Okay. This one down, one behind it comes across, over the top and in the hole. Okay. This one in the front comes down. The one behind it comes across and goes in the hole. So at this point, I only have one left and I don't have anything to pull down. So I'm gonna come right in here. That's where we started. And stick it in the hole and pull it. And I'm gonna kind of flatten it out. You can come here because now they're to the inside of the basket and kind of hold them and pull one way and pull the other way. Like hold it there and pull it, and that's tightening on the rim. And you're going to do that all the way around the basket. And so all your spokes should be to the inside of the basket. And so it's going to look like this. And so now I'm going to take my scissors, and you can just start anywhere. So I'm going to start right here. And I'm going to take this long that I put into the basket, and I'm going to cut it at a slant. And I'm going to cut it kind of long, probably about 1.5 inches. I'm going to put it, let it right under that rim and just set there. Then you're going to move on to the next one, cut it at a slant, roll it under and pull it up.
Hey, Miss Mary, we had somebody in the chat that was asking how to do that last piece again.
Oh, okay. Let me see. I'll just have to take this basket apart again.
Hey, Tyler, what part were they referring back to?
I think it was the part where it looked like it was kind of tightening it up.
Oh, these will be to the inside.
Uh-huh.
And so you're just kind of hold it, and I'll kind of hold the basket and I'll pull it kind of tight and then move on to the next one and just pull it kind of tight. And that's just like tightening up that rim. You're going to do that. You're going to do that all the way around.
You can think of it like braiding hair, you know, pull, tighten, little twist, you know, get it firm and do the same, you know, pattern, overlapping, tighten, twist, you know, little tug, pull, and keep going with that.
And so you're going to cut those, when you cut them off, you're going to cut them off at about 1.5 inches. And then they just roll under the rim, and then you just kind of pull it up. That's why I do like to make the double walls, because they hide all of this. Where this shows around the rim, on the double wall, everything is on the bottom, so you don't see it. So I'm just going to continue to cut those off. And there's my last one. And so this is what your rim is going to look like to the inside. And there's your finished basket.
That looks awesome. All right, once everyone finishes up theirs, we'd love to see what they look like.
And does anybody have questions? How do, I can't see what it was. It went
Oh,
away.
it says, how do I get rid of the rest of the reed? Maybe the cutting part? Is it,
Oh.
I don't know if they've cut it already or if they need to tie it
If-
off. Or...
If they're talking about the pieces they cut off, then they're just thrown away. If that's what they're talking about.
Throw them in the water.
It says I haven't cut it yet. So maybe wanting to know like how much to cut off?
Leave it, cut it off, and leave about 1.5 inches and kind of cut it on the end of the slant.
So cut it down. Let's see, I get it about 1.5 inches. Go ahead and tuck it in into your little basket, right? From out here, tuck it in, basket. You see that?
No, I don't have any.
I think that should be good. That should be good.
Done. Ooh, good.
Nice.
What's that say? No. Oh, I'm done.
Yep. So
Yep,
they
caught
caught
up. Awesome.
Great. Very nice. Yay.
Nice.
Very nice. Very nice. Oh, we have some good basket weavers. And just so everybody knows, I love baskets and we need all the basket weavers we can get.
It's basic, pretty basic, natural survival skills. So if you don't got money to go to dollar store and get like a $5 plastic bin, you can go outside and make you a basket, like it's pretty simple,
Is there anybody else that wants to show off their basket to us? We saw Miranda's, we saw Eli's. Did I miss anybody on the spotlight? Tima, Cayman, Cheyenne. Mara, I know you're there without a camera. I bet yours looks beautiful as well. Here's Tima.
It's still not like complete, but I'll complete it later.
Yeah, it's looking good.
Great.
Thank you. I'm a perfectionist, so like I try to make it as like tight as possible, so it's not wonky looking, but
Well, I always say, I would rather have what somebody would call an ugly little tight basket than a basket that's like has all kinds of color, but it's real loose.
Mhm. That was when I first did it. I was like in middle school, and it was really loose, and I learned my lesson.
Oh, okay. And the more you do, the better you get.
Good. All right. It looks like everybody has about finished up, or they're at a place that they're going to come back and watch the video. Oh, Cheyenne and Cayman got back in. Maybe they're going to show us their video or their baskets real fast. Cheyenne and Cayman, do you want to show us your baskets? Where you're at?
Cayman is a different name, but I have a friend in Alabama that's name is Cayman.
Oh. Ooh, that looks good. Mary, maybe where you can't see it again. I don't know. It's something about their video when it comes on. All right. It looks good. Almost done with the top on that one too. Maybe if I get spotlighted, let's try that. Oh, I spotlighted Mary again. Never mind. I don't know what I'm doing over here. That's good. Tyler, I know you have a couple of final questions for everybody. If you want to go ahead and do those.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, usually we kind of we go over the quality questions sort of throughout, but I felt like, I didn't want anyone to fall any further behind. So I thought, yeah, let's go ahead and just do them sort of towards the end. So what I'm going to do is post some questions into the chat. And if you just want to answer them there in the chat, that would be awesome. So the next question we have, just a couple more, is
How do I do this?
this one.
How did I do that?
So this question is, I want to learn more about my culture. Awesome. We have people learning more, wanting to learn more about their culture. That's awesome. And being here today, this is how we do that. Learning about the history of basket making and how to make the baskets. And I think what Miss Mary said was really important, that, there aren't a lot of people who are doing basket weaving, and the more people that learn about it, the more that tradition and that history and that culture keeps going. So that's great. All right, the next question is, I have a trusted adult or mentor in my life. Trusted adult or mentor. And if you want to add a little bit more, what makes them a great mentor or what makes them a great trusted adult, feel free to put that in there as well. Yeah, so by adult, it could be somebody older, even just a positive friend too. Positive friends are huge. Tima said, I can go to them for advice. Miranda said they're always willing to listen. Yeah, that's awesome. Plenty of positive friends in my age group, one adult. Awesome. Great. Love to hear that. I love when people are able to identify positive people in their life, whether it's friends, adults, mentors. That ties into protective factors like we talked about earlier. And it's always great to have positive friends. Let's go over one more question here.
Hey, while Tyler is putting that question up, I brought Mary over. Oh, she's kind of blurry. Come run in there close. If y'all would just tell her thank you, give her a big wave.
Mado, everyone.
Yes, thank you.
No.
I'm so glad everybody participated.
Hello, Miss
so much-
Mary.
Mado. And do y'all know how to say basket in Creek? Samba.
Is it SBM?
Samba.
Samba.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
samba. Yeah, I can write it. Samba.
And so I'm Samba Mahaya, basket teacher.
Oh, awesome.
Very nice.
You guys learned Mvskoke words today too. How exciting. All right. Thank you, Mary. Appreciate it. I saw y'all went off. I was like, oh, we didn't even get to do a final thank you. So
I'm gone. I'm not in here anymore.
That's okay. That's okay. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you.
And then lastly, how did it feel making the baskets? Was it nerve-wracking? Was it enjoyable? Did you feel happy? Did you feel stressed? Were you angry at times? Was there just kind of a whirlwind of emotions going on? Felt connected? Yeah, kind of stressed at first when you felt like you couldn't keep up. But then when you started going at your own pace, it was pretty relaxing. Yeah, that's awesome. And I think sometimes it's kind of hard. That stress is pretty normal whenever you're trying to keep up and you've kind of falling behind. It's kind of hard. It's very stressful at times to feel like, dang, I'm way behind everyone. But then when you were able to find your own speed, and Tima, it sounds like you became pretty content with the fact that like I'm probably going to finish this because I want to do it right, and it's better to do it right than to kind of rush it and make something that's not going to hold for you. Then it became more relaxing. That's awesome. Fun and enjoyable. I can't wait to make more. Yeah. If there's any extra ones for the next time, I think I want to try to make one, or maybe see if my daughter wants to make one. That would be kind of cool. Because I've never made baskets before, but I'd like to try.
Just FYI, I'm taking supplies home tonight because I didn't get to make them during class, and now I really want to make one.
Yeah.
We'll get you some supplies, Tyler.
Yeah, totally. I'll go back and watch. I don't really want to go back and watch